Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Church with a Two Dreams Network.
Alright, everybody ready? We're going to sing. Here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the church with a two-drink minimum. Welcome to the church with a two-drink minimum. We are interfaith, interspiritual, God optional. So relax and get ready for the celebration. Welcome to the church with a two-drink minimum. One more time now. Welcome to the church with a two-drink minimum. Hey, human!
It's not complete without the wee doggies, is it?
Truly. Hey, everybody!
Hey! If you haven't noticed, we're not here.
We're in Vermont, and we have a very exciting, I think, message today. So we're going to take a little extra time with the message because it really struck us.
We had an amazing time on Wednesday. We'll talk a lot more about that later. But it was so good. We wanted to kind of do a little bit extra. So the lesson's going to be the feature of this. It's going to be a little bit imbalanced on the side of the lesson. On the side of learning, how about that? We're going to be talking about learning, expectations, what are things for, and the conclusion is that we're going to act like who we are.
Yeah.
And who you are and who you believe you are is evidenced by your actions, and evidenced by the world we live in, and evidenced by our relationships in the society, and our families, and our institutions and things. So I'm really excited about this. So
well, what I want to do first is just sort of ring the bell and take a deep breath. Let's just do our regular 3 breaths. And then we're going to move into a song that Glen picked as it resonated for him with what he's sharing today in his message. So
you have to sing along.
Yeah, it's a sing along. So here we go. Let's take 3 breaths together. And we invite you into our circle of love, where everything that we like and everything that we do not like is accepted. We love you. We love ourselves. We love our consciousness. Blessed be. And so it is.
feels good, and I can have what I want. and I want joy, and I want peace. I love myself, I forgive myself. My life feels good, and I can have what I want, and I want joy, and I want peace. Opportunity finds me, I create what I need. I'm open to suggestions, I accept success. I take responsibility, abundance flows through me, and I prosper, I prosper, I prosper, I prosper, because I love myself. I forgive myself. My life feels good, and I can have what I want, and I want joy, and I want peace. I love myself. I forgive myself. My life feels good, and I can have what I want, and I want joy, and I want peace. Opportunity finds me, I create what I need. I'm open to suggestions, I accept success. I take responsibility, abundance flows through me, and I prosper. You prosper, we prosper. I prosper because I love myself. I forgive myself, and my life feels good, and I can have what I want, and I want joy, and I want peace, and I can have what I want.
Yay! I love myself. I forgive myself. I can have what I want. My life feels good.
Peace and joy.
Here's to peace and joy. Now, we have played this song enough. So I know you were singing along, right? You were singing along. You know? You were doing the call and response and dancing and everything you were. I know you were.
dancing on the streets of New York City.
Oh, I know, that's a great. We had such a good time, doing that video. But we chose this song because this is actually the lesson today. It's the real core basic idea here is, who are you and how willing are you to act like it?
To act like yourself?
Yes. We're in a chapter called The Curriculum. And if you do the math at 12.8 pages a week for 52 weeks, if you do the math, you'll find yourself on chapter 11. Chapter 12. Chapter 12 is the Holy Curriculum, and we're going to look at section 7, the Look Within. Now, this chapter is called the Holy Curriculum, but I call it Society or Basic Relationship. Okay, this is the basics. This is like the user manual to be a citizen of the world, to be a good neighbor, to be a good, participator in your community, in your society. How do you conduct yourself? What is the role of your responsibility in a society, in the world, as you as this divine creature? And she says, and she uses the word learning a lot in these 15 chapters. Okay,
15 paragraphs.
15 paragraphs. I was saying, yeah, thank you. I keep doing that. No, we're not going to read 15 chapters. We're going to look at 15, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't done this lesson since 2013, is because it is so large and it is such a large concept. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
But this is called the Look Within. And in an odd way that the Course juxtaposes things, she uses the word learn or learning 8 times in this section. So she's interested in our discernment and development and attitude and in our ongoing learning, developing our own learning style. How's that?
Oh, sounds good. Okay.
Okay. So everybody has a learning style. Like I'm auto and visual. So I've written out the course. I've written it out in my handwriting.
Yeah, you did.
So because that's kind of like I know my learning style, and I like to use visuals as well to help me like code, like icons are visual representations. So I like to use visual pictures and visual ideas to help me remember. Well, the method that the Course in Miracles uses to help you learn is the habit of looking within. And she links this directly with experience. Okay? And she wants you to use your experience to develop your understanding of who you are. And it begins with belief and experience. Now, we talk a lot about that around here, and Regina has a really good thing about the circle of experience and the you remember that?
Yeah.
So we're gonna explore or expand how the Course talks about that principle. Okay, so the very first thing, Yolanda will later drop in an image I'm going to use for this. I used for this booklet, but it's a back tattoo. I love tattoos, so this helps me, right? It's a back tattoo of a Thai mandala of unity. Okay, so this gentleman is literally walking around with the unity of creation on his back. It says that would propel you forward, right? So it'd be really difficult to have, a really spiritual mandala tattoo and be awful. You know what I mean? It would be difficult. Not that you couldn't do it, but it would become difficult. And she calls that dissonance. So we're going to talk about a dissonant mind. We're going to talk about learning. We're going to talk about how you can use your experience to reveal the truth about who you are and the truth about all beings. The truth of the unity of this experience that we're having and how I can rely on your experience and you can rely on mine because of the unity here. So without further ado, let's dive in to these 15 paragraphs. This is chapter 12, the Holy Spirit's curriculum, and it's called Look Within. So would you read these first two things for me? I'm excited about getting to the lesson.
Okay, here we go. There is no situation to which miracles do not apply, and by applying them to all situations, you will gain the real world. That reminds me of something Jacqueline said to me.
Okay, we can talk about that.
In every child of God, his blessing lies, and in your blessing of the children of God is his blessing to you.
Wow, that sounds kind of epic, doesn't it? In every child of God, a blessing lies. And in your blessing of the children of God is his blessing to you.
Yeah.
So it's like what you've been given, you're supposed to give away. Right? And God is trying to give it to you, through you, and through other people. And she's asking you to generalize this knowledge that miracles apply to everything. So tell your story about Jacqueline.
Oh, well, I was talking about coming to Colorado and things like that, and how exciting that is for me, and what a miracle it was. And I was crying about it. It was just so moving to me. And Jacqueline said, that's the way the real world works.
Miracles are supposed to be happening. When they aren't happening, something's wrong. Right. So this is about experience, learning, and results. And it's about learning, there's that word, learning under the guidance of your true nature, or learning under the guidance of the Holy Spirit, or what I call the voice that likes you, right? It likes you. You have a voice inside that's really interested. So the objective is to generalize your learning. Do you understand what that means? If you understand a concept, or you understand a principle, then you can apply it all over the place.
Okay.
Right? If you learn to be kind and you want to be a kind person, you are kind to all people and dogs.
Yeah.
And cats.
And all beings.
And all beings. If you want to, be that, you have to do it. Right? And we learn it. And she says, extend these ideas you will be practicing to include everything.
The workbook lesson.
Oh, no, it's the workbook lesson instructions that we do all the time. This is the method, and we're going to look at it a little bit closer. And it's the idea, if you know better, you do better. And the idea of learning has results. You know why you know how to do math? You could say, I know how to do math, and you can show the math. Remember that in elementary school? I used to get points taken off so bad because I did it all in my head, and so I would get points taken off because I didn't show my work. Show your work, Glen. Please show your work, Glen. So truth can be generalized because it applies to all things. Truth is true, and if you find something that's true, it's always true. It's true in whatever latitude you're in. It's true whatever longitude you're on. It's true wherever planet you're on. So it's reliable. So we're learning to see in what is reliable. We are learning to see correctly what actually is, what is. And she goes, if you can do that, you gain the real world. That makes perfect sense. If you see things as they are, what do you have? Access to the real world. Access to the real world, if you want the real world. Some of us don't. We're going to talk about that too. We take action on learning. It's the proof that miracles exist when we take action on what is ours to do. And she makes a promise here. She goes, the experience will be of radiant atonement.
Wow.
Radiant oneness. So she gives it a little bit of a way, that idea here. What is atonement? But it radiates. It expands. So she's giving you those words again: expansion versus contraction, making versus creating. She's doing these comparison things. Okay, so, and she alludes to a lesson we did about a month ago. Do you remember when we talked about you're a blessing and the blessed? Your objective is to bless the world because you've been blessed.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
You're a blessing. You're a blessing to the world. Because God has blessed you.
Yeah.
So you offer your blessing to the world. So she's going back again and building on these ideas. You are blessed and you are a blessing. And it is your job to recognize others as blessed and offer them your blessing because they're offering you theirs. So read the bit I've highlighted on the second paragraph.
Everyone in the world must play his part in its redemption in order to recognize that the world has been redeemed. You cannot see your strengths, but you gain confidence in their existence as they enable you to act. And the results of your actions you can see. For sure.
That is absolutely
sure.
clear. That is absolutely clear. You can't see your strengths, right? Okay. This is a request to become observant. Right? Can you tell a story by just telling the facts? Without coloring anything? Can you tell a story without any color in it? It's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay? It's very difficult. All the words you choose speak to and betray your belief and your experience. Okay?
Right.
When you observe it. What is my part to play in the redemption? It says, what's my part to play in the redemption? It doesn't say monitoring other people's parts in the redemption. Contrary to popular belief. So, what is my part in the atonement? Well, to accept my role in the atonement, right? That's so what is that? Your talents, the way she goes at this is she says, look, your strengths are invisible. Your talents are invisible. What you're good at is invisible. Well, your love is invisible. Learning is invisible. You can read a book. What are you doing? You're just staring at something. Your mind's doing all that, interpreting symbols and creating worlds and pictures and everything like that. All that's invisible. Learn to perceive what is and recognize that redemption, this concept, so you're talking about atonement, redemption, and learn to perceive and recognize what is a being, what a being is. And she says it's this it's the redemption. It's the atonement. That is being. Our oneness is the being that we're seeking. This collective togetherness is the being, is the experience that we're seeking. And nothing else is going to satisfy us. And she goes, but you can learn how to do it. Because it's already your nature. You can learn how to do it.
Wow. Learn how to recognize?
Yeah, learn how to recognize reality. You gain the world, right? By perceiving what it does. This is a quote. By perceiving what it does, and it is us, the body, other people, the Holy Spirit, anything, it. By perceiving what it does, you can recognize its being. Remember we talked about what's invisible. And the being, and redemption is what she says you can actually see. So by perceiving what is, you recognize its being. By perceiving what it does, you recognize its being. By the things the cat does, you can recognize the cat. And all kinds of cats comes in all different shapes and sizes, but you recognize the cat by its catness.
Right. Okay.
Right. You can perceive what it does. You recognize its being. And there she continues. And by what it does, you learn what it is. Living, breathing, alive, connected, necessary. Right. And by what it does, you learn what it is. So what are you doing? And does it describe who you are? And these invisible talents that you have, these invisible strengths you have, are they in service of the redemption, in the service of wholeness, in the service of the atonement? And she makes a request. She goes, act on your learning. Would you? Well, we always do, don't we? But we don't have a conscious acting on our learning. We aren't consciously, this is the look within what she's asking us to do, change our aspect, change our attitude, to act on our learning and act on our strengths. You have strengths, talents, and all of this because they're necessary for your awakening.
Right.
Being you is the key to being awake.
Oh, yes. Wonderful. Got
cool?
it. Got it. Yeah.
So she asks you to just unequivocally just evaluate all the results and all the intentions you have. No big deal. So what is remember we talk about this a lot around here. What's it for? That's your intention. What's it for? What's your relationship for? What's your job for? What are your strengths for? What are your talents for? If
Awakening.
not to, right, bring a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Be a cooperative component in the atonement.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're all doing. That's what we're doing. Little bow ties and hats and everything. All right. So we're going to do the next couple of paragraphs.
What he enables you to do is clearly not of this world. For miracles violate every law of reality as the world judges it. Every law of time and space, of magnitude and mass, is transcended. For what the Holy Spirit enables you to do is clearly beyond all of them. For you can be aware of what you cannot see, and it can become compellingly real to you as its presence becomes manifest through you. Do the Holy Spirit's work, for you share in his function. As your function in heaven is creation, so your function on earth is healing.
I want you to read that one more time so that we can...
As your function in heaven is creation, so your function on earth is healing.
Right.
That's awesome.
And as long as you believe you have other functions...
Mm-hmm. So long you will need correction.
That's how long you need correction.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, again, throws right back to the workbook instructions.
Mm-hmm.
You can take as long as you want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You just can. You can order in whatever order the lessons in any way you want to. We're all going home. This is the idea. We're building on this stuff, right? So she should ask us to become observant. She's asking us to pay attention to our experiences, and now she's saying that this will develop presence in us that calls on the miracles and allows us to be in the experience the real world. Developing presence only happens through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, where you're allowing your inner nature to become your guide. And the results are miracles. And she says miracles break the law of time and space. And they are a witness for what is. And I know you can probably tell me a story. Well, we have several where the one that comes immediately to mind is we used to get on the train. We get on the train. We says, "Oh no, we're running so late. How we're ever gonna get to our gig on time?" And we did. We did. And it never
time to spare.
With time to spare, it broke the laws of time and space. I know you can tell a story where something shouldn't have happened in time and space, but it did, and there's no explanation for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what happens when your presence is the authentic expression of the Holy Spirit. All right. So how does the Holy Spirit? So how do we do that? Well, we stop doing what we want, which is what with the Course in Miracles calls magical, using our will to control something, which the Course calls magical thinking. Mm-hmm. And she wants you to do the Holy Spirit's work. I don't know. I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, and so I heard that a lot. The work you're doing God's work there. You're doing God's work. You're doing the Holy Spirit's work there. That's creation. In heaven, in the moment, in the reality where we all are together, where the oneness and the atonement's happening, it's creation. Our function is creation. But on earth with material existence and material, the rise and fall, with suffering and disease and decay, and mental stress, and on earth your function's healing. Because that brings us to the moment where the creation happens. Healing happens. And it doesn't mean your body becomes, Arnold Schwarzeneggerized. It means that you realize that everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be for your awakening.
Yeah.
The healing is everything's already okay. And what my opinion about it is what's causing the suffering.
Right.
So she gives us a little bit of a warning. She often does. Warning and a promise. The warning is doing anything else than this will just destroys your peace. So if you will observe that, you won't do it anymore. But until you're willing to observe that when you don't do what the Holy Spirit asks of you, then things don't turn out so well. Until you're willing to be onto yourself you're just causing more peace, more just destruction of your peace. She calls it the destruction of your peace. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the promise is, this is kind of cool. She says, if you do this and you get that, you develop, if you work with the Holy Spirit in developing your presence, she gives you a promise. She goes, you will know, right? We move from perception to knowledge, right? So you will know, have the experience of, you will know who, what, where, and why the Holy Spirit and your brother is.
Okay.
You'll know who your brother is.
Uh-huh.
You'll know what you're looking at. You know what a being is. You know, you'll be able to recognize the atonement and redemption. You know, this perpetual creation that we are. All right. So read these. Got another couple of paragraphs.
You see what you expect, and you expect what you invite.
This is where the class blew up.
Yeah, we got so excited. You see what you expect, and you expect what you invite. For you will believe in what you manifest, and as you look out, so will you see in. Two ways of looking at the world are in your mind, and your perception will reflect the guidance you have chosen. I am the manifestation of the Holy Spirit, and when you see me, it will be because you have invited him. The ego finds what it seeks, and only that. It does not find love, for that is not what it is seeking. The mind always strives for integration.
And that's good news, right? So these are, this is a little caveat. She does a little sidebar here about managing your expectations. Okay, and this goes back to all what we've been developing on. Do you know what you want? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? Do you know what your function is? We've been talking about these things, and this is what she gives these expectations for. And this is how she asks you to examine them. What are your intentions? Who are you? What experiences are you asking for? Right? Are you throwing out? Please agree that it sucks to be me. You know, you're handing out those invitations, or are you handing out the invitations to say, I love myself, I forgive myself, and your life feels good. And you can have what you want. It's all about perspective. Perspective that leads to knowledge. Because you're trying things on. You're listening and you're doing experiments and you're saying, oh, I believe this and this is turning out bad, so let me try to listen to Holy Spirit, this inner wisdom, and just try something new. Or just don't do the thing that causes the suffering. Yeah. Right? You can start there.
Just stop.
And you'll find out. Don't do it. Yeah. Thank you, George.
Stop.
So, well, and she gives us a reminder here that the ego doesn't seek love. It seeks pleasure and power over. That's the guidance. You're either going to take the guidance that says, follow me, and I will give you the experience of the real world and the oneness and all the happiness that you could possibly, and the joy that you could possibly stand. The other one says, I'm going to give you an endless orgasm and power over everything.
You wrote down the ego does not seek love, it seeks pleasure and power over. That is really a great description.
And so if you're observant and you have presence and you're interested in your own learning and learning about how you do things and your own method of learning, you'll find that out for you, about how that concept works for you. And she says, our minds, and she says this a million times over in the course, she says this in every section, a version of this, our minds naturally incline toward integration. You're already one, you're already whole, you're already together. So your ability to express that is innate in you, in us. So go ahead.
That's beautiful.
I know, I love that.
I said before that what you project or extend is up to you.
There it is. There's the contrast.
Projection or extension. Yeah. But you must do one or the other, for that is a law of mind, and you must look in before you look out. What you want in yourself, you will make manifest, and you will accept it from the world because you put it there by wanting it. When you want only love, you will see nothing else. Love, too, is recognized by its messengers. If you make love manifest, its messengers will come to you because you invited them.
Okay, she follows up with this little sidebar with the law of the mind, reminding you about projection, right? You must look in before you look out. So choose your guide. what you want in yourself, you will make for yourself in the real world. That's what you said. What you want in yourself, you will make manifest.
Right.
So if you want conflict, if you
Right.
want to, like I've encountered, I wanted to find out what I would do when I met a Nazi, a card-carrying, tattooed-up Nazi. So I did. I found out.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
So our minds are really, really, really powerful. And she gives us another reminder here that deciding for the ego, taking all advice from all corners leads to disassociation. Right? Have you ever asked everybody what to do and then couldn't decide? Or have you ever asked everybody what to do and then did all of them? That's what she's talking about. Not having a direction, not having a firm direction, not saying, listening to the Holy Spirit and pursuing the Holy Spirit, our innate goals and our innate function, doing that and pursuing the goals of the world of pleasure and power.
Oh, I see.
So she makes a reminder: you can't do both.
Can't do both.
Can't do both. That doesn't mean that pursuing who you are doesn't bring pleasure and power and strength. It certainly does, but not in the way the ego would recognize it.
Right.
And so she gives us a reminder that about dissociation, and she gives us the example or the proof, what I call proof. If you see a divided world, you have a divided mind.
Right.
So your healing is still incomplete. So when you have healed, she says, you are pursuing one goal. When you want only love, when you want only truth, when you want only what works, when you want only what is, when you want only reality, you could put the word when you want only peace. All these things mean the same thing in the Course in Miracles, pretty much.
That's true.
When you want only awakening, when you want only healing, when you want only love. And all of these things are in relationship. Pleasure and power over our relationship. So let's continue.
The power of decision is your one remaining freedom as a prisoner of this world. The way she puts it. You can decide to see it right.
You can decide to see it right.
You cannot really give anything but love to anyone or anything.
Right. You're Love is all there is. 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 And that's a relationship.
Yeah.
That's us. That's togetherness. And you can decide to see it. And you can decide not to see it.
Right.
You can decide that I'm alone and friendless.
Yeah.
You can decide that it sucks to be me and the whole world is against me and I can't have anything that I want and everybody hates me and I'm going to go eat worms.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Okay. And so this is just the basic reminder she gives that giving and receiving are one. She does this very, very, very often. Remember, giving and receiving are one. This projection thing, it's not two concepts, it's one concept. So give only love, for that's all you want. Because that's all the thing that's going to satisfy you. So give the only thing that ever satisfies you. Go ahead.
The reality of your mind is the loveliest of God's creations. Coming only from God, its power and grandeur could only bring you peace if you really looked upon it. If you are afraid, it is because you saw something that is not there. Woo!
And so I don't know, when I get,
do
you have a red flag when you're in your anger? Like do you like for me I like the idea of sticking a flag in it, sticking like a red flag in it. Like as a reminder to say, when this happens, this is what it always means. So when I get mad, I'm always reminded, my little red flag says, you're wrong.
Oh, got it. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
If when I get mad, it means I'm seeing incorrectly. I'm upset and unconsolable.
Right.
It means I'm not seeing correctly. That doesn't mean I don't have feelings.
Right.
Or that I'm not going to go through it, and I don't run from those feelings either, because I'm safe. So I can have my feelings. Because I just got these feelings. They aren't going to. Feelings are also invisible. and we don't see the feelings other people have. We
Right.
only see their
Right.
physical manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to be, so we need a default sort of setting and a way of understanding on the way our humanity works in society. And she says that method is by looking within, and you will be able to be observant about the world you are creating. And she calls that, and she says, the Course says, the reality of your mind is the loveliest of God's creations.
Wow.
The reality of your
mind.
mind.
Hmm.
We can do this. You can learn this. Awakening is yours for the decision making. Because your mind is powerful. She says it has grandeur.
Yeah.
And she says when you have the love, when you support or encourage the expression of the reality of your mind, she says you bring peace. And that you look upon peace. And that when people think about you, they think about peace.
Yes.
So where there is peace, and she says, where there is peace, there is the Father. Where there is peace, there is the Creator. Now, you remember that what your function in heaven is? Your function in heaven is creation. So where there is peace, you're in the moment. There is perfect stillness, hope. Now, the observant moment about what is happening this time, this now, with me, my perspective, my learning, my observance, my desire to experience what is. Where there is peace, there is creation. And that's where we want to be, in that creative mode. Right, Yolanda? We want to be in that we want to be participating with the creation of what is. All right.
When you have accepted your mission to extend peace, you will find peace. For making it manifest, you will see it.
She continues, though. So she makes it explicit. She goes, this is your mission, if you choose to accept it.
Yeah.
This is your extension. So extend peace to find it. And this goes back to the call. What is yours to do? Holy Spirit has heard and answered this call and wants to help you understand why you're configured the way you are and why it's necessary that's so.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good thing to know.
To want only that. Right? To want only that, she says. To want only what is yours to do. Instead of monitoring other bodies through space.
Yeah.
To want only that. To be single. This brings to mind being single focused. This brings to mind being disciplined. I know we don't like that word around, in some circles. It means testing your beliefs against what is. It means discernment. It means careful and mature observation of what is, and being able to say, this actually makes me angry, or I'm now afraid, or I'm whatever it is. Discernment and observation. My heart's beating really fast. I don't really like this. I had someone cross me online, and I was really like, oh my God, I don't like how this feels. I just don't like how this feels.
Right.
And this is all in service of your goals. And the way the Course in Miracles talks about goals is, what kingdom are you building? She also says, are you in prison or not?
Right. That was funny.
Okay, so this is
top,
she goes, you could get out of prison. All you have to do is to make a decision that I don't want to be in prison anymore.
Right.
Okay? So the journey confirms the destination. You're on the road to Vermont. If you're on the road to Vermont, you're never going to get to Utah.
Truly.
Because I'm going north. Not that, so the journey confirms the destination. You can't get to where you're going by doing things that don't support what you're doing, what you're awakening, what you want to experience. And so the caveat to that is, you are experiencing what you want.
Yeah.
It's like,
always.
I know, always. Always.
Which is hard to sort of
It is.
Except
It's, and
sometimes.
this is what was so profound for me
Mhm.
this time is because I had to really admit that there's some people that I like pissing off.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. That some people like there are some not some people. There's some attitudes or things like that that I kind of
You like to provoke
provoke.
sometimes. You do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's observable, and it's getting less and less comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to observe. Do I want this feeling? I did this. I chose this. And take responsibility for it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't beat yourself up, or like the Buddha say, don't shoot the other arrow. If
Right.
you're hurt, don't shoot another arrow into your wound.
Right.
Heal the wound.
Right.
You know, heal. Look, that's the observant. Do the thing. Listen to the Holy Spirit. Admit it. What's the belief that's stopping me from seeing? Accept. You know, this is what she's talking about. The method that we teach in the Course in Miracles. The journey confirms the destination. So be serious about where you're going and your actions meeting your words and your body and your flow and your community and being a part of the people moving to, walking to heaven with me, as the song, as the poem says. So go ahead, read the next bit.
When you look within and see me, it will be because you have decided to manifest truth. And as you manifest it, you will see it both without and within. Everything you behold without is a judgment of what you beheld within.
Ooh.
Remember then that whenever you look without and react unfavorably to what you see, you have judged yourself unworthy and have condemned yourself to death.
True. Death.
The ego is not a traitor to God, to whom treachery is impossible. But it is a traitor to you who believe that you have been treacherous to your Father. That is why the undoing of guilt is an essential part of the Holy Spirit's teaching. Yes, 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 yes.
And the last sentence in this paragraph.
And from what you want, God does not save you.
How about that?
I know, you can do anything.
Oh.
Anything you want.
Uh-huh. As we've seen.
Yeah.
Don't get me started, as the children say. So this is a request to let go of your guilt and judgment. Guilt and judgment I have for me.
Yeah.
Guilt and judgment I have of what I do and what I say and the thoughts in my head, and because if I do that, I'm projecting it unconsciously, headed in another direction. We'll say. Mm-hmm. There is a choice of who and what you will be. You have a choice of whether you're going to be a who or a what. Whether you're going to exist as a body or as a divine aspect of a divine thought of God. It's a choice, and you can make it in any number of ways. You can make it 100 times. And she gives you a reminder that if you observe the ego, you can really reject it quite easily if you'll just look at it already, because for the ego, we're criminals. And they're criminals. They ain't acting right. I'm not acting right. So I should be punished. And if I don't learn and act right, I should be punished until I die. That's the judicial system. It's the system we all live in. It's the way we think. We learn by punishment, which has actually been proven over and over and over again. The jury is in. That doesn't work. They even tell you not to train your dog that way.
Right.
So Shauna can probably tell you all about horses. Just bring in Shauna to say, "Don't do this." So this is a request not to create a world of guilt and judgment. Don't run guilt trips on people. Don't run guilt trips on yourself. Don't be Judgy McJudge face. Because she's saying that there's peace and delicious strength and oneness in the moment to be able to see what's happening, so we're able to continue in the direction we want to go. And that takes being present, right? So when we're not present, we're not in heaven, we support suffering in the world, and we support the suffering of others, and when we don't heal. You know, we say brokenness is reality. That's what she's saying, and you're headed toward, you're choosing death, right? Because you're choosing to be an object, and objects die, so you're scaring yourself. See that? So read this last sentence, and I think we're going to be done.
So the last thing that you've underlined here is, when you learn to make me manifest, you will never see death.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You will never see death. You just won't see it. Because death isn't true. Because death isn't in your mind. Because your mind isn't an object. The reality of your mind is the most glorious creation
that God has ever made. Yeah. That's what she's saying. Glorious
mind.
Yeah.
So leave judgment to the Holy Spirit, because you're really bad at it. And remember that if you do your presence and your observation, and it's like making a decision, it's like, what's things are for? What's my intent? These are qualities of an eternal being. You're already manifesting qualities of God, qualities of this eternal being that we are. So, in celebrating your eternal being, in celebrating your glorious mind, I'm here to remind you that my name is Glen Ganaway, and I'm your favorite anarchist preacher, and this is the love of my life, the Reverend Yolanda, and you're listening to Church with a 2-Drink Minimum. Yay! I know. I love this. I love this. Really so get a mandala tattoo on your back and call me.
Oh God, that's a wonderful, wonderful lesson. Okay, so now we're gonna play a song.
Last song.
And it's based on today's lesson in the workbook. The world I see holds nothing that I want.
Satanam karta pukanire bone bear akamore rajuni sevam guru prasad chak ad such to God such heavy such nanaka hose be such ekon kar satanam karta pukanire bone bear akamure rajuni sevam guru prasad chak ad such to God such heavy such nanaka hose be such. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Beyond this world there is a world I want. Oh, there is a world I want. Oh, there is a world I want. Valueless, I escape the chains I've placed upon my mind and open the door to my true self, and open the door to my true self. Today Satanam Karta Purkanire Bonever Akamure Ajuni Sevanguru Prasad Jap Ad such to God such Hey be such Nanaka Hose be such.
Bye, everybody. We love you.
Appreciate your glorious mind.
Yes. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.